back to Brandon Sports Talk, everybody. The most unbiased opinion in sports. Thank you for joining me on the channel today, guys. Now, before we get started with our game picks, first, I'm going to tell you guys, go and link in the description down below. It says injury report in capital letters, and link will be down there. Shout out to CBS. I always use CBS's links for the injury report every single week that I do these game picks, dating back to when I first started the channel. So go down below if you are in fantasy or gambling, whatever. Make sure you go down there to see who's injured, who's in, who's not, so you'll know in your fantasy league who you need to know is active and inactive. Now let's start off with our game picks for Week 6. First we have the Carolina Panthers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but this game is 9:30 a.m. Eastern, so if you're on the East Coast, you got to wake up a little earlier. Even on the West Coast, you got to wake up even earlier than that. So this game is 9:30 a.m. Eastern, like I said, and it's in London. This game is in London. Kyle Allen is 4-0 as a starting quarterback with the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers are 0-9 with the other quarterback, which would be Cam Newton, dating back to last year. But in this week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost to the Saints by 7 points. They were still close in the game. I think they'll be itching to get a victory, especially because they beat Carolina on Thursday Night Football. It's a home game, even though if it's in London, but it's still considered a home game. I think Jameis Winston, Tampa Bay, wins this game against Carolina. Kyle Allen. Listen, it's been a nice 4-0. Whoever you face next week, maybe you get a win. But against this Tampa defense, Shaquille Barrett, even though they're not the best defense in the league, Shaquille Barrett is just dominating with the sacks. I think he'll get after Carolina Panthers offensive line that's a little shaky. I'm going with Tampa Bay in this game to be victorious. Now we have the Eagles at the Vikings. The Eagles' defense and secondary is a little banged up still. The Vikings are going up a defense that is Eagles' defensive line that is #1 rush defense in the league. Now, Kirk Cousins needs to be able to throw the football on this team because the secondary is banged up. And not only that, this Minnesota defense should have a better time stopping Philadelphia because Deshaun Jackson's still hurt and that offense is still kind of banged up a little bit. But in this matchup, if Kirk Cousins does not win this matchup, knowing that Philadelphia is kind of banged up, even though they might not get the running game started because, like I said, Philadelphia is top in rush defense, they still should be able to throw the ball in the air. Kirk Cousins should be able to throw the ball in the air. You got 2 Pro Bowl receivers that you have, and you have a Pro Bowl tight end in Kyle Rudolph. There's no excuse for Kirk Cousins not to win this game at home. I was going to pick Philly, but I am going to pick Minnesota this week because of the win that they had against the Giants, even though it was the Giants' defense that was hurting as well. Kirk Cousins needs to be able to show that he can lead Minnesota to the playoffs in that tough division. I'm going with Minnesota. Don't let me down, Kirk. Next up, we got Washington at the Dolphins. It says this is the first matchup of winless teams in Week 6 or later since 2004. And if I'm Washington Dolphins fans, I do not watch this game. I mean, this may be a blowout because both defenses are just not playing well, but even both offenses are not playing well. So I don't know if it's going to be a blowout. Washington is 0-5. The Dolphins are 0-4. If I'm going with the Dolphins. I don't believe in Washington no more. What they doing to Dwayne Haskins, and he's not ready yet. Now, Urban Meyer did say, his college coach did say that he's not going to be ready in his first year. Give him some time. So I kind of, believe that because he did play well in Ohio State, and he was coached by Urban Meyer. So if Urban Meyer knows his guy, then he knows him. But that being said, I believe in Josh Rosen. I think Josh Rosen will get the victory for the Miami Dolphins in this matchup. Next up, we have the Texans at the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is 15-0 in non-primetime games. Oh, man, this game is very, very hard for me to pick. The Chiefs are 4-1, and the Texans are 3-2. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the Texans win with Deshaun Watson. He's going to throw all over this Kansas City defense. I think because the Texans have a better defense than Kansas City by players and things like that, I think the Texans will beat Kansas City in Kansas City, and they'll lose back-to-back home games like they did against the Colts last week, which they should have never have lost. But for me, I'm going with the Texans. This might be an upset to some people because the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, and that offense is just too fast. But I'm going with my man Deshaun Watson. Saints at the Jaguars. I am going with the Jaguars at home. This defense could be too tough for Teddy Bridgewater. He got lucky in that Dallas game, for them to have 4 field goals, and that was it. And they still won the game because Dallas couldn't get the offense going because of the Saints defense. I think Jacksonville's offense will play a little better than what the Cowboys did. Even though the Cowboys' offense is better, they have a better offensive line. I think being in Jacksonville, playing up against a good team, and the quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, is limited. I think Jacksonville gets the upset. This might be the second upset of the week, but I'm going with Jacksonville. Next up, we have the Seahawks at the Browns. Russell Wilson, 4-1. Baker Mayfield so far this year is 2-3. I'm going with the Browns at home against Seattle. I think this is where Cleveland turns it around just for this week because they got New England coming up, and that's going to be a tough matchup in a couple weeks. But Seahawks at the Browns, I'm going with the Browns in this one. I just think that the Browns will get a victory to feel good about themselves against the Seahawks. The Seahawks are a tough team, but I do think that Odell and Jarvis Landry and Antonio Galloway can expose this Seahawks secondary for lacking an overall total great players. Bobby Wagner's a great player. KJ Wright is a great player. But the defense overall, I think the secondary is a little weak for Seattle. Even they play well, but to me, it's overall going up against Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. The defense, to me, is just a little weak for those receivers who can go off Odell in the slant. Then you got Nick Chubb in the backfield. I just think that it'll be too much for Seattle this week. I'm going with the Browns. Bengals at the Ravens. We already know the Ravens are going to win this game, probably in a blowout. The Ravens are 3-2 and the Bengals are 0-5. I'm going with the Ravens just based on the team is just better than period. I don't care if Lamar Jackson threw 5 interceptions. The Bengals are still going to lose because they are the Bengals. And to me, they're in a rebuild mode. Sorry to Cincinnati fans. Next up, we have the 49ers at the Rams. I'm going with the 49ers. The Rams is banged up. Aqib Talib is out of this game. Clay Matthews is out. Todd Gurley is out. So they're going to have to rely on the pass like they've been doing for the past. Basically, they've been relying on the pass all year long. And it's worked for them. But then now it's starting to unravel a little bit. 49ers defense is coming in hot after what they did to the Browns and Baker Mayfield. I'm going with the 49ers. Falcons at the Cardinals. If the Falcons don't, I'm going with the Falcons. If the Falcons don't win this game, somebody deserves to be fired because this is ridiculous. The Falcons, this is a must-win for the Falcons, and I'm disappointed in the Falcons because I said this team is being slept on with all the talent that they have. Devontae Freeman can't seem to run this year. I know he was hurt last year, but he can't seem to get open. The only person who seems like they balling is the 3 wide receivers on the offense, and that's it. Tight end not balling, running back not balling. I'm going with the Falcons, though. If the Falcons lose this game, somebody deserves to be fired. Cowboys at the Jets. I'm going with the Jets at home and a huge upset against the Dallas Cowboys. Sam Darnold's back. I know you guys thinking, yo, he bugging right now. But listen, Sam Darnold, I think that city's going to be hype and rejuvenated. This is basically going to be on television, like basically one of the main games on television at 4:25. So for me, the Cowboys and the Jets will get their first victory. The Cowboys will go 3-3, and the Jets will be 1-4, getting their first victory of the season. And if the Jets do win, the Cowboys are in trouble. Titans at the Broncos. I'm going with the Titans automatically. They have the better defense. I know they have better defensive players on Denver, but the Titans overall as a defense, as a team, can play very well. I'm very skeptical of the special teams for the Titans because they kicked their kicker, Ryan Suckup, after missing 4 field goals, but then you signed Cody Parquet, who was trash all year last year. So what is going on? Mike Vrabel, if he doesn't win against his team, you're on the hot seat. You are on the hot seat because I said the Titans could possibly win this division or be second in a video that I made about the Tennessee Titans a couple months ago. If the Titans lose this game against the Broncos, whose offense can't get it going, Mike Vrabel's on the hot seat, and I will call for him to be on the hot seat when I do a separate video on him if they lose. Steelers at the Chargers. Their only third-string quarterback, Mason Rudolph, is out. I'm going with the Chargers. And if the Steelers somehow get an upset Anthony Lynn, you belong on the hot seat as well because that is just ridiculous that you lose to a third-string quarterback. I know your defense is still kind of hurt, but you have Phillip Rivers, who is a veteran. You have Melvin Gordon. You have a good team that you can dominate the Steelers with. The Steelers do have a good defense, but overall, as a Chargers unit, you should be able to beat the Steelers and their third-string quarterback. So let me know how you guys feel in the comment section down below. Tell me your game picks, who you picking to win this game. How do you guys feel about my picks? You think where I went wrong? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be back with my Monday Night Football pick between Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. That should be a great Monday Night Football matchup. But until next time, guys, listen. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the videos with everybody, your friends and family. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching the videos. I'm out. Peace.